How big a step would it be just to kind of get this proverbial monkey off the back and beat Florida State?
It'd be nice, you know. It's always nice to beat an in-state rival. It would be a breakthrough opportunity for us. They've obviously, as of late, dominated this series, and we've got a chance to end it, just a chance. But I don't know how dissimilar it is to simply beating an ACC opponent or an SEC opponent at the same time. You know, it's just we've got a ton of these opportunities all year, and this is the first one. And if we're thinking about streaks and rivalries, and we're adding noise to the fact that we're already trying to decrease the level of noise that we're all dealing with in our locker rooms, I think we're doing ourselves a disservice. It's about which team plays better Sunday afternoon. That's all it's about. It's about carrying through a game plan and taking good shots, valuing the ball and getting stops, those type things.
What kind of a teaching tool was last year's game for these guys, just to show them that they need to come out?
Honestly, Edgar, not much of one. We won't watch much of that game. I think it's two totally different teams. We were horrendous. They were great. They were a big part of why we were horrendous. So not to take anything away from them, they played really well. They were a really good team. They had a great season, and both them and us are trying to have a great season this season. And it's about their team this season, which is very different than their team last season, and the same with us. I'm trying to get freshmen to fly at shooters and make them bounce the ball and block out and close out with their hands up. And I'm sure Coach Ham's trying to get his new team to execute their game plan as well. We've got our hands full enough with today's practice, really.
What did you see from their game the other night?
Trent Forrest is a monster. He's a guy that I got a lot of respect and admiration for. The way he approaches the game offensively and defensively, he's gotten better and better. Changes the game defensively, on and off the ball, and then offensively, he's developed. Throughout his career, seems to. I don't know this about him, but he seems to lead, at least by example, with his toughness and motor. Puts pressure on the defense every possession. He's seeming at least one game in to take on a larger offensive role with this current Seminole team. Got a great ability to get to the rim, draw fouls. Again, just put pressure on the defense.
Aside from Forrest, you mentioned they have three guys who are taller than 6'7". Does that affect what you want to do? Some of the small ball lineups you may want to play out there?
No, we're either going to play small or we're going to play big. It's who we are. It's what our roster is. Keontae's going to play some at the 4. He's going to play some on the wing. That's if he can stay out of foul trouble. He didn't get off to a very good start the other night. And then we've got an ability to play a couple different bigs, depending on who's playing well. We'll see. We'll evaluate after practice today.
Did you expect Carey to come out and instantly provide the impact that he had? And this is a guy that has some experience inside the shoot.
Yeah, we were hopeful. We're going to do a lot of things through KJ offensively and defensively this year. He's experienced, he's tough, he's smart. He's a really good player. He's as good a player as I've ever coached, and he'll be a big part of what we do offensively on the post and on the perimeter. And he can pass it, and he can draw fouls himself, converts at the foul line. He's got maturity, he's got confidence. He's been terrific.
After the game on Tuesday, you mentioned that Tre Mann was getting more accountable on the defensive side of the ball.
Yeah.
Have you seen that from the other freshmen as well?
Not as much. No, Tre's been our most accountable defensive freshman so far, period. I would say Omar Payne has come a long way in the last couple weeks, and he's getting better and better. At this level, versus Division I opponents, particularly opponents of this magnitude, an ACC opponent, Florida State, sometimes the outcome will be determined by less mistakes, less defensive mistakes, less turnovers, less missed blockouts, things like that. And so, you know, we're all in college basketball. I'm sure that most coaches throughout the country are a little bit nervous about playing newcomers, you know, especially 18-year-old freshmen. And freshmen are making a lot of mistakes, but sometimes the glaring defensive mistake can cost you 3 points like that, and 2 or 3 of them can cost you a bunch of points. And we're seeing that. We saw that in the last 10 minutes of the North Florida game. And so there's a curve there, and there's a process that these guys are going through. I think that there are outliers. I think Andrew Nemhard was an immediate outlier. I don't think I've had a freshman that guarded with the level of accountability that he did from day one as a freshman. He was arguably our best defender with Kavarius Hayes. I would say second to Kavarius Hayes the first week of the season last year. And so it's not unexpected. These freshmen have got much room for improvement, and I think they'll get there. I hope it's not late February. I hope it's, you know, next week. Tre's just been the best so far, and I hope I'm saying that about Tre again next week.
Mike, what's your level of concern with the second half? You mentioned, I mean, is some of that just early season, you know, getting guys used to it?
I think some of it is just softness. Some of it is inexperience, immaturity, accountability. You know, I tell our guys all the time, we can't listen to the exterior noise, the positivity or the negativity. So it's hypocritical for me to talk about, guys, we're not as good as the media thinks we are. So let's not worry about any of that. I'm just telling you, from my point of view, if we're going to be a high-level team, you don't get outscored in 2 straight second halves to inferior opponents. And our guys understand. They embrace that. We'll see if we take a step in the right direction on Sunday. But, you know, against the Seminoles, if we play well for 30 minutes, we have no chance. We've got to play well for 40. We've got to defend at a high level for 40. And that goes for 95% of our schedule. Got to get tougher. And then probably the biggest factor that I left out is because I thought our starting 5 defended at a pretty high level. Not that they were an A effort, but all 5 of those guys were at least a C+ or better. 6 through 10, and again, Omar's defending pretty well and getting better and better, but got to have some other guys step up defensively as well.
What's defensive accountability actually mean, like in layman's terms?
Simply doing your job whether you feel like it or not. Our system is no more complex than anyone else's defensively. When the ball goes to the wing, we load to the ball. There are certain lines on the court that you try to get to. Whether it's the lane line or the basket line, we call it the white line. Some teams deny, we get in the gap. When you're 1 pass away, we're supposed to be in the gap. Sometimes we have freshmen that aren't in the gap. High-level defensive teams stay in a stance. It's hard right now for our freshmen to stay in a stance, have the discipline to stay in a stance for 30 seconds, for 25 seconds, you know, to finish a possession. When shots are shot, they need to be contested. You know, it's nothing complex. And then everyone's got blockout responsibilities. And all of those things, and I've probably named half of what we do. Again, it's not too much. It's not rocket science. And we've got Noah Locke, you know, Andrew Nemhard, KJ Blackshear. If you break down those 150 potential jobs during a game, they're hitting at a pretty high rate, you know. And we've got to find some other guys. Kavarius Hayes was a guy who was he's hitting 135 of those 140 jobs. You know, rarely does he out of position. And taking pride defensively is doing that consistently. You know, whether you're tired or not, you know, whether you just made a shot or you just missed a shot, whether coach just puts you in the game or subs you out of the game, whatever, being accountable at all times. I challenged our guys the other day. You know, we're in film yesterday. I said, who watched it? I know most of you probably watched the Florida State game, but was anyone the ticker? Were you following the Virginia score? Who won the national championship last year? Virginia. Coach, we all know Virginia won. Did you see that they had Syracuse held to like 7 points? late in the first half. It's amazing. And Florida State's a great defensive program, and Virginia is, and that's what we strive to be. So it's what you strive to be. I just don't think that you can win big games, where you only have 5 guys defending at a high level. We're going to play as many as we can find that are all on the same page and connected defensively, and then offensively that we value the ball and take good shots and share it. And you miss shots, It's part of the game.
Well, rebounding, I wanted to ask you.
Yeah.
You weren't happy with it against Lamb, and
Yeah.
it was still pretty close. In this game, what's the key to improving there? And a team like Florida State, they just seem to be relentless when it comes to crashing the board.
They are. Defensively and offensively, they always play very physically. They always play extremely hard. Their rebounding responsibilities, the level of accountability, who's supposed to go to the glass, they just do it. They do it. And they're great on the defensive glass as well. It's a concern of ours, for sure. Our finding more guys to contribute, that can contribute, to success off the bench is a huge factor for us right now. Our defensive accountability, especially off the bench, is a huge factor. And really 1 through whoever plays, 1 through 10, rebounding, a huge concern right now. And especially when we're playing small. We got beat to a couple offensive rebounds early in the North Florida game that won't translate to beating a high-level team, period. And some of it's a one-on-one fight that a guy loses, and some of it is guards just watching. And we can't be watchers. KJ Blackshear, of course, is going to be, when he's at the 5, he's going to be in a dogfight with a lot of times 1 or 2 guys, and we've got to get in that fight with him. Our backup bigs got to be really good rebounders. Keontae's got to play bigger than he is when he's playing, especially when he's playing the 4. And then we've got to come up with Andrew Nemhard is going to do his rebounding responsibilities unless he changes, for the most part, at a high rate. We've got to get other guards that'll help him rebound so we can finish some possessions.